Hello, my name is Asma Zaidi and I'm a school leader in Hyderabad. I'm also the territory head for Early Childhood Association APA, Association for Primary Education and Research. I'm also an author. I have written a book called Let's Read. It's a phonic guide for parents and teachers. It's a complete guide for reading, step by step and progressive. We make reading resource kits that schools can use to promote reading and give exposure to children. Apart from that, I host a talk show on Channel Win. It is called Bacche Hamara Future. It's on parenting, and reading is my personal favorite. It's my passion. I enjoy teaching children how to read, and I enjoy training teachers and training parents. So today we are going to talk about reading strategies that you can use at home to promote and develop a love for reading with your children. So we're going to talk about reading for children between 3 years to 8 years today. And I think reading by itself is not an isolated activity. It is a part of language development. And there are some prerequisites to reading, which is listening and speaking. And I think building confidence and a sense of self-worth is the secret ingredient which is missing. So when we talk to children and we are reading books with them, and the kind of language that we use, if it makes a child feel that they will fail at a certain task, then trust me, the child is never going to read. And that is one of the major problems that we have in our country, and one of the biggest reasons why children don't like to pick up books and read. It's because they think that they will fail at it. So children need a lot of motivation, they need a lot of encouragement, and that is why the playway method works. That is why apps work, because they entertain children and the children don't realize that they are reading when they're reading. It's very important that we introduce children to a lot of genre. They should be introduced to picture books, comic books, magazines, encyclopedias, resource books. And I completely agree that children can't read them, of course. But they develop a sense of curiosity. They look at the pictures, they can see a lot of visuals, they can ask a lot of questions, which should be encouraged. Children should be encouraged to constantly ask questions, and if you feel that your child is not the type who's asking questions, then you can, gently poke them and say, why do you think this is happening? Why do you think all the planets are round? Why do you think the sky is blue? Why do you think that the birds are flying? What do you think makes a bird fly? So you can look at books and ask them different sorts of questions. And please, of course, it goes without saying, but we should give space to our children for them to think, for them to articulate the words and say what they want to express. And we should give them time, and we should have the time to listen to them. Some of the free resources that you can use are Story Weaver's website. It has books in many different languages, and a very cute app called Flipgrid, which it's free and you can download it, and it's excellent for children to record their own videos and for talking to you or sharing about things that they think. When we choose books, we should be mindful of what kind of books we are choosing and for which age group. For example, this is a personal favorite, even though it's a math book. You can see that there are a lot of pictures, a lot of colors, a lot of things to talk about. So even if it is a small child, say a 2-year-old child or a 3-year-old child who doesn't know numbers yet, we can still talk about a lot of things. We can talk about what the children are doing, what color the balloons are, where they are, who buys balloons for them, where have they seen balloons before, what do they do with balloons, when do they see balloons, when have they seen or played with balloons. So these books are very colorful, and these books have a lot to talk about. When you have children who are a little older and haven't started reading yet, we can use colorful books like these, which have a lot of pictures, which the children can talk about. And as you can see, they have very short lines which are written. But be also be mindful that when you're reading aloud to children, we don't we don't read word to word, and we say the story like a narrative. So even if you are a parent, just read the story once before, so that you can just go along and play and talk about the things as the children are reading. So when we read books to little children, we can ask them to talk about, of course, the picture and what is happening in the picture. And for children who have started learning alphabets, we can say, in this line, can you show me the letter I? Can you show me the letter Eh? Can you show me where S is? And for children who have started reading, after you read the story and what is written over here, you can say, can you show me the word that, and point to that in the book. As children grow older, you can talk about the front page of the book, the name of the author, what do you think is inside the book, talk about the blurb, and you can talk about prediction skills before you actually open the book and take a walkthrough and see what is going to happen inside. When you choose books, be mindful that books like these, which have small font, are for very fluent readers, and you shouldn't expect 5, 6 year olds to read them on their own. These stories are really big with small fonts and should be for maybe 10-year-old students. For very small children who learn how to read maybe 3 letter words or have just started isolating sounds, I Spy is a very good game to play with beginners. So it goes on like this. I spy with my little eye something in this room that starts with L, and the children say light. Something in this room that starts with T, table. I spy with my little eye something on your pretty face that starts with N, nose. And of course, you have to be mindful that you cannot use words like eyes or ears, because it starts with I, but the spelling is E. It starts with ears, and the child cannot isolate the sounds. So you have to be mindful of those things. So the beginning sound is always good. You can use any word that you want, but you have to be careful about the ending sound. For example, you cannot say table because the ending sounds like L, but we know the spelling is eh. So stick to 3 letter words. I think that's the safest thing to do with small children. Try to have pictures and stick to 3 letter words. Play I Spy game for phonological awareness. Then you can do the second more challenging part of the I Spy game. You can say, I spy with my little eye something that on my body that ends with G, and it is leg. Something on my face that ends with P, lip. You can also play I Spy with things which are when you're driving in a car, like I used to play with my daughter, or things that you can see outside your building or your window. It's a fun game to play, and children have a lot of, children just enjoy it a lot. Apart from that, you can have rhyming words games for phonological awareness again. Things that start with, for example, if I say bat and you throw the ball to your child and he has to say a word that rhymes with bat. So hat, mat, sat, fat, mat, rat, okay, and so on. So children develop that sense. You can play tongue twisters. Children can memorize poems. They can memorize tongue twisters. So she sells seashells on the seashore is a very popular one, right? And little poems in your own mother tongue is also a very good idea. And children can learn, see at a later age as children grow older, maybe 4.6 to 5 years, reading gets blended with writing skills. And you can, get the children to identify sounds, get them to write on sand trays, or get them to, collect things around the house which start with a particular letter. Instead of using sand, you can use balanga, tea leaves, or rice or atta, whatever you have to get children to write in a sand tray. If you don't have a tray, you can even use a plate. One fun idea to use at home when children are learning how to read and spell is to use blocks. Take a simple permanent marker, a thick one, and write letters on the blocks, and you can get the children to make up 3-letter words or 4-letter words with blends. It's a fun thing to do. When children start learning or reading non-phonetic words, you can use ice cream sticks, and common house, you have your clothes pegs. You can use them to form letters and learn sight words and non-phonetic words. There are a lot of online resources which are available, especially during the lockdown, that you can use. YouTube has got a very cute channel called Astronauts in Space. You have authors like Oliver Jeffers, Julia Donaldson, and of course you have the Roald Dahl website, and a lot of free resources which are available on Instagram, on YouTube, on Facebook for children to explore. Audibles is one. Kid Engage is another platform which is offering free stories. Story Weavers, like I said, has got a lot of free resources. The Tulika books are great for children to read. I think I've mentioned before that reading and writing cannot really be isolated as different strategies and are intertwined and interlinked. So as children grow older, writing and reading complement each other. So one of the reasons that I have realized why children don't like to write anymore is because they don't see any adults writing. If you think about it, children are like little monkeys. They do what they see adults doing. If mummy is dusting, children want to dust. If daddy is shaving, boys want to shave. If mummy wears high heels, girls want to wear high heels. So children copy what parents do. And seriously, how much of us actually spend time reading books or writing? And if you ponder on this question, you will realize that this is why children don't like to write, because they see their parents on laptops, they see their parents on phones sending messages. So a few small things that you can do at home and bring about a huge change is start writing sticky notes for daddy, for grandma, for grandpa. You can leave them on the fridge. You can leave handwritten notes and messages. You can make shopping lists with children. It's a little time consuming, but I'm sure it's going to go a long way. Start making a phone diary again. Remember those days when we used to have and maintain phone diaries and remember phone numbers? It's time to use those diaries again. Start writing a journal. Get children to draw and write. So some of the strategies that we use in school for reading is using graphic organizers. It sounds very fancy, but it's actually very simple. Depends on the type of book that you have. If there is a lot of contrast in a book, the book is dividing between two things, then you can use Venn diagrams, and children can even just make pictures to see how they're, you can draw pictures and get them to tell you about how they think. You can make mind maps, you can make a sequence of a story, you can get the children to write about different different sequencing activities that happened in a story. You can also talk, as children grow older, make children more aware about literary elements of a story. So who are the main characters? What is a protagonist? What is an antagonist? What was the setting of the story? What was the plot of the story? And a plot always has a problem to solve. So the plot has a beginning, a middle, and an end. There's a problem in the middle, and then the people are trying to figure out how to solve that problem is your middle part. And then the end is, of course, how everything gets fixed. So, getting the children to think about these little things as they're reading a story, or even if they've listened to a story, is a very good idea. For more ideas on reading, you can see our website, letsreadindia.in. You can find me on YouTube, on Instagram, and on Facebook.